I'm here with Tim from Inlytics. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. It's perfect.
That's
Great.
who we were chatting before this, and recently got a mic required for 5 figures. So congrats on that.
Thank you, Arthur.
Appreciate the time. To kick things off, for those listening, tell me a little bit about what Inlytics did and the problem it was solving.
Inlytics is a LinkedIn-based analytics platform for personal profiles with an attached scheduling tool. So what we were doing at the time is we started in 2020. We were figuring out, or I was figuring out at that time, that many people actually, they want to brand themselves on LinkedIn. Some agencies are also involved. They manage a couple of accounts on LinkedIn, and it's very hard for them to analyze multiple profiles. And also, your personal profile. You don't see much data on LinkedIn, or you don't have much data on LinkedIn. So this is always, or was, a struggle for many people. And so we decided to build a tool where you can have all of your data in one place, see all of your posts, like more insights in your data. And in the end, we did focus more and more towards agencies and also companies, because they try to analyze multiple profiles. And I was in touch with larger organizations, and they had one person, employed just for pulling data from LinkedIn, visualizing it in Excel. And this sucks. This costs a lot of time, and it's also very expensive to do. And so this is like kind of the niche that we positioned ourselves in and started this venture. Yeah.
Nice. And so I assume you're selling to mostly like sales teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Very, very nice. So tell me about the acquisition. So you listed on Microquire. What were your expectations going in, and how did it go?
Where do I start? So when we decided basically that it's time to sell, or in other words, find a suitable growth partner to scale our baby, we had a look at the market and also searched on Google as how do we find potential buyers? How does this whole setup look like? And I did end up finding Microquire, and was immediately convinced that this platform could work for us, because I saw the value proposition of the website, and then clearly indicated to me that there are people involved that know how to sell a business, and also they know the process, they know how things are going. And so I have to be honest, I didn't know about the acquisition process and all of that stuff in the beginning. So I'm a complete new in this relation. Also, I did not know what to expect. So this was also like a big question, a big question mark above our heads, basically. How is this whole entire process looking like? What to expect from buyers on a platform like this? So it was great that we had the opportunity to enlist on a platform where I cannot speak out this word. Anonymous? No.
Anonymous. It's a tough one.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Private.
Yeah, where we are private, basically. So we can enlist on the platform and see what kind of requests we are getting, what kind of people are reaching out, and if also our expectations, for the price and also for the fit, the strategic fits are met. So this entire structure that was put together by you, Andrew, really helped us in the beginning. And the structure, having a centralized place where buyers and sellers meet, seeing also, or having like the conversation in one place. So we have kind of a command center in there where like these people, they reach out to us, and I can qualify them. I can see if they are serious about buying a business, and if they have a vision for a product like ours. So I can do that without sharing too much information in the first place, and seeing like how a stage gate process can look like was very helpful for us in the beginning. And also kind of having a structure in place, how a data room looks like, how to present this kind of information to a buyer when you get to the next stage. So, above just getting in touch and seeing if this is a potential buyer, the next step is logically, to also share more information about the business. And so having this kind of structure really helped us in the beginning to get started.
Nice. How many buyer requests did you get, if I can ask?
Roughly speaking, about 30 or something. Like in the course of 2 months, I would say we were in touch with maybe 15, 16, 17 with them. Some were serious, some were not. And this is also maybe I can make the transition to some of the errors or mistakes we made in the process, because qualifying buyers is certainly one of them. There are a lot of people involved on the platform. They're very serious. They know exactly what they want, but some of them, and this is also fair, are not certain in terms of is this a product I would like to acquire, and I don't know. There are a lot of questions, and so it is really key, in my opinion, to find out or ask certain questions in the beginning, because this did cost us a lot of time sometimes when people did not know what kind of stuff they were looking to buy.
Yeah, one piece of advice I always give to sellers is make a buyer work for you. And what I mean by that is you ask them a series of questions like, have you acquired a company before? Or in your situation, maybe, do you have any experience in this space? And they slowly respond back and you get to know them. And then you're kind of putting them through these hoops, so to speak, making them, they're qualifying themselves essentially. So my next question would be just, out of, those 30, 40 buyers that reached out, how did you find the right one? How did that one individual, and you don't have to name the person,
Yeah.
but how did that one person, stand out to you?
I can name it because it's public. So it's XO Capital from the
Nice.
United States. These
That's
guys,
that's Andrew's fund, right?
Andrew, Henry, yes, and Danny.
Yeah, Andrew, great name.
I mean, these guys are very serious. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're looking for. They are buying profitable SaaS companies. So when they did reach out to me in the first place, they told me exactly, hey, I'm looking to buy something like that. We have a 30 days timeline to do so, and we can also commit. So, well, when I was talking to other buyers, we had a much longer process because we had to communicate our expectations, and they also, some of them, they were clear about their expectations, while others weren't clear. So this was kind of a long communication, and we missed. Also, this was a fault that we did. We missed to set exactly these expectations, and also to pressure these people a little bit to make clear statements. So this is exactly the piece of advice that you gave me right now, and also the learning. But for these guys, for XO Capital, they knew it from the very beginning. They had a structure in place, and basically all they needed is, or at that time, they asked us specific questions. I want to see your customer base. I want to know who are you targeting, what are your key customers, and so on and so forth. So they had very clear expectations, and they communicated that right from the beginning. So we knew these guys are serious, they want to do business, and they are interested in the analytics.
Nice. I think that's a great tip for buyers too. Is just, the more you're prepared in terms of what you're looking for from a seller, just shows your seriousness, and then also just your capability to acquire a company. So that's great to hear. Good job on that. I guess my next question would be, there's a lot of, founders like yourself looking to sell startups ranging from 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. If you had to give like 2 pieces of advice to startup founders who maybe are selling a company for the first time, what would it be?
To be honest, if you're looking to sell, unless you know exactly how much you are worth, it may be a good starting point to start with, make an offer on the platform. So also in the beginning we had a rough multiply in our heads, and we put it in numbers and we put it on the platform. And so people were reaching out, some of them with complete unrealistic expectations. But it's very hard, in my opinion, to evaluate your own startup because you're also biased. You think your startup has to be 10x at least, or 20x, while others, like more optimistic buyers, more opportunistic buyers, they have clear limits, maybe 3, 3.5, 4x on your current revenue, on your ARR. And so maybe you also use that option on microacquire to turn around, not start with a clear offer, but make an offer. So turn around and put the question to the buyer and see what comes. And so we did that. And it was pretty successful in the beginning because by the time we had 30 people interested in the business itself, 15 of them we talked to roughly. So we had like a very good picture of what we were worth at that time, because so many people gave us numbers and also figures, and so we could decide also by the seriousness of the buyer, by their offer, their structure, their timeline, all of that stuff, if somebody is really interested in making a decision. And so we could really we had something in our hands.
That's really good advice. I mean, just asking sometimes, just asking buyers, what do you think it's worth?
Yeah.
Like they can come back with, I think this is priced too high. Well, what do you think it's worth? And if you get, because valuing a startup is like part art and science, it's the potential of the business. Is it growing? Is it, what market is it in? Do you have Microsoft on a 10-year? There's so many variables. So just getting, that feedback from the market can be like the difference maker. Because the number one reason that a lot of startups don't sell on microacquire is they just price 10x annual recurring revenue, and those multiples are really reserved for when you're at scale. So when you're like at 10 million revenue and above, that's when you can really start commanding those multiples. But so good tips there. And in terms of, okay, so you found a buyer, you agree on price. Walk me through just on a high level, like what did due diligence look like? You touched on it a little bit, but you signed the LOI, you start moving towards closing the deal. What were like some aspects of it that were easy to go through, and maybe like a tip for a founder to, what to expect in due diligence? That's like a four-headed question. So sorry about
I
that.
think every due diligence is individual. So honestly, Andrew, Henry, Danny, the guys from XO, they made it pretty easy for us. So because they knew exactly what is important for them, they could ask us exactly these questions. And so we can or could deliver up on that. So just to give you an expectation of what we went through is we had an LOI and an NDA signed in the beginning. And then we gave them access to the data room, where they had like all of our processes mapped out, like all of our tech structure and stuff like that. And then they asked specific questions on what they want to see. So we did a deep dive in our tech stack. We did a meeting with all of the guys involved and showed them all of the tools, showed them all of the basically back end stuff, front end stuff, all of the important information that they need to make a decision. And from there on, they ask specific questions like, could you show me exactly this bucket? Could you show me like the secret keys for, I don't know, I'm not a tech guy, so I don't know how to structure all of that. But really, they ask specific questions for these individual parts. And this also gave us the confidence that they know what they are doing. So this is really like also a strong argument, because I think if somebody in due diligence is really clueless what to do, what to ask for, it also kind of shows they don't have any plan on what to do with the business after that. And we always wanted to make sure that we are selling to somebody who has a clear vision for the product and knows like what is like the value of the business itself, and also the value of the customer base that we have built. So by the time we had 15,000 users on the platform, roughly. And so this is like a huge commitment from our side, because we are giving all of these customers, all of this value basically in the hands of somebody else. And I know a lot of these persons, other people personally, or these organizations, these agencies, and I want to make sure that these guys, get the best possible outcome from this acquisition as well. But back to the topic, signing LOI and the A in the beginning, then doing a couple of Q&As with the team, and after 2 to 3 weeks, we were basically through. They were ready to make a decision, and from there it was all about the price. It was all about how is the deal structure, how does it look like, and so basically BD was done.
Nice.
Sorry, Andrew, I want to add one more thing, because in the beginning we said we had a deal for 5 figures. It was actually like 6. Maybe we can also edit that after that.
Gets even better.
I was kind of confused because 5 figures now it's 6 figures. Yeah.
6-figure deals. Okay, right on, man. Well, congrats on that. Yeah, I agree with that. Just having like working with an experienced buyer is just so much easier because you could, I mean, one of my biggest fears when selling a company, depending on the size, like if you have like a full team and customers, you get to like the ninth inning and this person has no idea what they're doing and you've wasted all this time. So again, going back to like qualifying the buyer is very, very important because it just makes your life so much easier,
Yeah.
especially if you can kind of map out, okay, this is what due diligence is going to look like. This is what we're, valuing your company at. This is how we're going to transfer assets. This is how we're going to use escrow. All that fun stuff. It just makes it so much easier for both parties. So that's great advice. So
Yeah.
that's kind of all the questions I have for you. But I'd love to know. So you just got micro acquired for 6 figures. Congrats again on that. Super super happy for you there. What are you working on next? What's next for you?
Obviously, I'm a founder, so I have always a couple of ideas in my head, but honestly, nothing is too specific right now because I'm still in the process of the handover, and then a couple of clients that also come up to me, and I make sure that they are forwarded to the right person. But I want to state that I'm very interested to start over in the tech space again, in foreseeable time. I'm not quite sure what it will be, if it will be yet another SaaS or anything else. Maybe also share some of my experiences with other founders and like some of the experience that I've accumulated over the past 5 years. I did work for a company builder as well. For a company builder, it was an agency company builder. So I'm interested in the tech space, and I'm also very open to get in touch with angels, with other founders that are looking to build something in the tech space, because in the end, I really believe it's all about relationships. So 3 things above everything else: it's the team, it's timing, and it's the idea. And if you can bring these 3 things to the table, you can do really great stuff. And so I'm very open. So if anybody out there listening to this podcast is interested, just feel free. My LinkedIn could be in the description. I don't know how the podcast is structured, but
Yeah.
you can reach out, and I'm very happy to get to know you.
Yeah. So I guess we'll end it on the final question. How do people get a hold of you? If people want to just ask questions, jam with you, email, Twitter, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, absolutely. I mean, we built a LinkedIn analytics tool.
Yeah,
So,
I should have assumed that. Okay.
No, honestly, like LinkedIn is the best way to reach you.
Gotcha. I'll put that in the show notes. Well, Tim, that's all I got for you. I really appreciate your time. And congrats again on the acquisition. Super excited to see what you do next. And I'm rooting for you, man.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast today. And I really appreciate your time and also your guidance through the whole process. This was really outstanding. Thank you.
My pleasure, man. All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right.
Cheers.